Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are reviewing the Toyota Innova Crista 2.4 turbo diesel with a manual 5-speed gearbox. So quickly just turn on the car and please look at the gearbox now. Look, this is how the Innova starts up. Again, let's just quickly just put it, turn off the hazard, put it in the power mode. It says power mode right there. No traction control, no nothing else. Let's just rev the car. There's all the way to the red line. Okay, little bit of sideways, and that's it. This is the Toyota Innova Crista for you guys. Turbo diesel engine, produces around 150 horsepower and around 340-50 Newton meters of torque. Torque on this car is really good, very bitey. It will lose traction in first gear when you launch the car. Apart from that, it won't lose traction in any gear other than that. The car, firstly, let's talk about the engine performance. It's a diesel engine, so it doesn't have much of a rev bend. So around 4500 is where it will redline. So what happens is the low end is very weak because it's a turbocharged car, so the low end is not good. The mid range is where it is extremely juicy. So after 1500 to 1000 rpm, all the torque kicks in. So it's a very good mid range. But again, the top end is kind of lacking. Top end doesn't exist as much. So around 3000 rpm where it starts losing its power. But apart from that, a very I wouldn't say rev happy engine, but it does redline quicker, especially because it's very short geared. So first gear would go up to 30-40 kilometers per hour, second gear around 60 to 70 kilometers. So very short gear in that sense, because after mid-range the power starts losing out. But it's a rear wheel drive, so you could always have some fun with it. Driving mode wise, it gets 3 drive modes. So as you can see, eco, there's eco, normal and power mode. So I'll show you in the dash. This is currently we're in eco mode. We press eco again and we go into normal mode, and this is the power mode. Now about the modes, the eco mode is the most city drivable mode because it is very delayed, as in the throttle response is extremely delayed in the eco mode. Apart from that, the normal mode is kind of in the middle, which it should be. So the throttle response is slightly better. The only thing the modes alter is the throttle response, nothing else. And the power mode is, I don't find it very drivable, because in power mode the car gets very jerky for some reason. So when you put it in power mode, the throttle response is kind of flipped around. So when you press the throttle even a slight bit, the car would just jump ahead. But when you press it completely, it will just start taming down. So I don't understand why the power mode is that way, but it is very spiky. It is very not even drivable. It's not really comfortable to drive in power mode. Normal mode is where I usually drive this car, and eco is in the city. Apart from that, the gear, my biggest complaint with the gearbox is, firstly, it vibrates a lot. So right now, as you can see, we are in idle and it's still vibrating. If I put my hand, you can see it is still vibrating, and if every time I rev the car, the vibration just starts increasing, as you can see. Apart from that, it's just a 5-speed gearbox. I mean, at least a 6-speed gearbox would be, I think the car needs a 6-speed, not even it's a desirable thing, but the car needs a 6, because in 5th gear at around 2500 rpm the car is at 100 kilometers. So every time you go over 2500 rpm, the engine really becomes very vocal. That I'll show you in a bit. So talking about the engine noise, after 2500 rpm the engine becomes very noisy. Yes, there is no concept of refinement with this car anyways, because the diesel clatter is anyways too loud at idle as well. But one more thing is when you push it to a lower gear, let's say around, right now in 5th gear doing around 40-50, so at 1000 rpm, and from 1000 rpm, if you can hear, there's this very bad drone. Okay, that is up to around 1750 rpm, then it fades away. But so if you drive this car at higher gear, the drone is very bad between 1000 and 1500 rpm, but then it fades away. That is also one thing there. Apart from that, the clutch is very heavy on this car. It's a big car, I understand, but it's really heavy, so in city it's not very drivable as such. But apart from that, it gets a hydraulic steering wheel as well, so the feel is good, but again it's hydraulic, so it's extremely heavy, and you feel the heaviness particularly when you drive it in the city. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. Apart from that, the brakes are decent. They are not anything good, they are just average, because the rear drum brakes don't really help that much. And again, it's a ladder on frame chassis, so what happens is the body roll is extremely there. The body roll is going to be there, plus the suspension setup they have gone with here is very soft. So even on normal roads, right now we are doing a normal, this is a highway road, but the car will continuously bounce. It doesn't give you confidence doing higher speeds or turning at higher speeds as well, because it's a ladder on frame chassis, it's a softer suspension setup. It just doesn't add up to a confident driving experience. Again, this car is not meant to be driven for pleasure. This is mostly being used by people with bigger families or used in cabs basically. So it's not a driving pleasure car, so that is there. Apart from that, the mileage, let's talk about that. So the mileage in the city would be around 10. Being a diesel car, it gets around 9 to 10 in the city. Again, on the highway, it gives around 14 and 15 as well. So recently we did a trip, and it is currently giving a mileage of around 15.7. It is showing 15.7. So around the ball, it overestimates by 1 kilometer per hour, per liter, sorry. So it gives around 14 to 15 on the highways and 10 on the city, but pretty fuel efficient if you ask me, considering it's a big car. It's a 2.4 liter turbo engine. It's pretty good, but again, refinement is not there. There is nothing, no features. It lacks a lot of things, like it doesn't have auto dimming inside view mirror, doesn't get a panoramic sunroof, doesn't even get a traction control button, or heck, a cruise control button. There is no cruise control on this car. Like, a car that is priced about 20-25 lakhs and doesn't have a cruise control is shocking. Like, it's absolutely shocking. No cruise control. It gets automatic headlights, but again, misses out on a lot of features that the competition is offering. No ventilated seats, like a lot of good infotainment. Like currently they are offering that with Android Auto, but it's a very basic system. Like nothing is there on this car. The instrument cluster is basic, all analog mostly, so pretty lacking on features, but yet practical. So what my conclusion on this car is, yes, if you have a big family and you are going to travel, it's very good on bad roads. So suspension setup is so soft, it's good on bad roads, so you can take it to the villages in India and stuff. For that purpose, it is really good. So if you're traveling too much on bad terrains, or you have a bigger family, this is a very good car for you. But for someone who is buying it thinking it would be fun to drive, that's not the case. But again, it's very popular in the market. So you can see one Innova there, there's one more passing by. So a lot of people buy this car. First, it's comfortable, but I mean, my verdict would be, if you have a family, if you have a bigger family and you want to take them around, buy this car. Or you can also consider the Kia Carnival. That is the base variant of that, goes for like 20-24 lakhs. That's also a good deal. But if you want the reliability of Toyota and the maintenance free things, then obviously you can go for the Crista. It's a very good car and it won't be a wrong bet. And that's it from my guys. If you have any questions about for this car, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll try my best to answering them. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one.